You guys, I am so excited about today's recipe. Welcome to A Single Girl's Gotta Eat, the cooking show. We're gonna jump right in and then I'll explain a little bit more about what we're making. But we're making what's called bobotie. I will explain more in a second. But because this needs to simmer a little bit, I wanted to get this started and then we'll keep talking. So what I've done already, you guys, for the sake of time, is I fried, for lack of a better word, some onions, 1 onion, and then 1 pound of ground beef. Okay, so you can see that is what I've got going in here. I don't know about you guys, but I love onion, like fried onions, so much. It's grilled onions. I love them so much. So this has been like that smell is happening. I'm so stoked about it. Okay, but here's what we need to do so that we can get this simmering. We are going to add together a 1/4 cup of water, which I already have in here, 3/4 of a cup of milk. Use whatever you have on hand. I'm gonna add that in there. I might make a mess here, we'll see. And then I've got here, can you see it? It's called Traditional Bobotie. It is pretty much a spice packet. Now, this is not something that you can get. I actually brought this back with me from South Africa. So this is not something that you can readily get over here in the States, but I have ideas for you of the spices that go into a traditional bobotie. So you can make your own spice mix, which is awesome. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a quick stir without making a mess. Get those all in there. You guys use whatever you have in your fridge when it comes to milk. I'm actually using almond milk because that's what I had in my fridge. Mix that well together. This recipe is a little bit more complicated than what we normally make, but it is well worth it. Well worth it. Okay, so that is mixed up. So I'm simply going to pour it over my mixture. Get it all in there. Mix it around. And then we're gonna let that simmer for 10 minutes. Okay, let me just get this mixed in real quick. You guys. So bobotie is kind of like, I was thinking this kind of looked like beef stroganoff. You know that like color of a beef stroganoff? With the sauce in here, it kind of looks like that a little bit, but that is not what it tastes like. So, get the heat up just a little bit. So, let's recap really quick. We've got in here 1 onion, fried. Mince is what they call beef in South Africa. I might keep on saying that, but it's interchangeable. 1 pound of ground beef, cooked. We just added in the sauce spice mixture, which is a 1/4 cup of water, 3/4 of a cup of milk, and then your bobotie spices, which we'll talk about in just a second. Here is what's so fun. We are going to add in chutney. Now, listen, I don't have chutney on hand, ever. If you don't have chutney on hand, and if you don't have a vision for using it in other recipes, here's what you can do. You can get a marmalade, if you guys like marmalade, and use that instead. So I am putting in 2, might be heaping tablespoons of marmalade in place of my chutney requirements. Chutney is really big in South Africa, so everyone is pretty much going to have chutney on hand. But that is not something that I have ever cooked with here in the States. So if you don't have it on hand, you know, when I've made this before too, I've also used a like a harissa type sauce, so you could do that as well. So just kind of mix that in. It'll kind of melt down and meld with the spices and the meat mixture as well. What I forgot to mention is you are going to turn your oven on to 350 degrees. And you are gonna cook this for between 30 and 40 minutes until the egg mixture is setting. Forgot to set the timer. Okay, so you guys are gonna let this simmer for 10 minutes. Do you guys still have timers? This is my mom's. She still has a timer. I don't have a timer. I just use my phone, but I kind of like the idea of having a timer. So we'll get that going. This is now simmering. So we're just gonna let that get all the flavors in there. Get that marmalade in there to melt a little bit and blend with the rest of the flavors. Let me just say one quick thing about this marmalade. I don't know if you can see it. It is a marmalade that I got on a trip to Ireland a year and a half ago. Yes, I still have it. It's perfectly great, but that's just kind of a fun little thing. I got it at a convent, you know, throwing it out there. Anyways, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We are going to let that simmer for about 10 minutes, and then what we do is we transfer it into a Pyrex pan. So you guys can use a 7 by 11, 9 by 13, it might be a little thin, but that is up to you. I'm gonna go with the 7 by 11, and I think that'll be the perfect size for it. We are going to put an egg mixture on top, and it kind of creates like a custard on top of the actual dish, and that's what is gonna be going into the oven. Let me turn my oven on, and cooking over the top. So we'll have this fully cooked, but then we're putting the egg mixture on top, and then it comes out with like this lovely custardy crust. So buh-boo-tie, let me just explain to you why we're making this. Buh-boo-tie is like almost like a South African, like the national dish of South Africa. I don't think it is actually the national dish, but it's like super popular. So whenever I am missing South Africa, a lot of you know that I have spent many, many months over there and even lived there for a little bit of time. But whenever I'm missing South Africa, I get excited about making buh-boo-tie, and I'm gonna make chakalaka with it, and pop, P-A-P, is kind of like, think mashed potato. It's made out of cornmeal, but mashed potato, like a stiffer mashed potato, but it's something that South Africans use. Is kind of like almost like a bread or like a scoop to kind of add as a filler for their meal. So we are making the whole shebang tonight. I'm treating my mom to a South African, well, it's not a 3-course meal. Just South African, like lovely, full-fledged meal, and I'm so excited about it. So you guys, we're letting that simmer. Let me talk about buh-boo-tie spices, right? Because unless you're planning to go to South Africa to pick up some buh-boo-tie packages, you're probably not going to have the spices. You're not gonna find like a buh-boo-tie spice mix. So here is what I found for you. Here's a recipe for you. Mix together 1 tablespoon of curry, half a teaspoon of turmeric, half a teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of coriander, and then a half a teaspoon each of thyme, basil, and oregano. Mix those together. You've got a lovely buh-boo-tie style spice mix. It is good for like one pound of meat. Okay, so if you have, you know, if you're making 2 or 3 pounds, making this recipe, then just kind of, you know, alter it accordingly. So, oh my gosh, you guys, I wish you could all just come over and see what I'm making right now. Okay, so we're simmering away. It's looking awesome. You might be wondering what chakalaka is, because I did mention that. I'm also going to be demoing that as well. I'm gonna turn that down just a tad. But that will be a separate recipe. But we've got just a few more minutes left. So for the egg mixture, you are going to take 3 eggs, beat them together. I wish I was doing this live so then we could do like a Q&A, like a South Africa Q&A. Not that I know all the things about South Africa, but you know, just in case you guys have never had South Africa on your bucket list of places to go, please put it on there. It is this, I always say the sun shines brighter there. Like the colors are brighter. like you've got the incredible blues of the ocean, and then these vibrant colors of, you know, the mountains, and you have mountains and ocean right there, which is the best of all the worlds. But then the colors of the flowers are so beautiful, and like the people are amazing, and there's all these markets and unique style and like delicious food, and the beaches are awesome, and you can see whales and dolphins and sharks, and like it is the greatest place in the world. I love it. I consider it a second home. I have not been in, how long has it been? 3 years? 3 years, and that is painful for me to say. Painful. So I need to make a trip back there soon. Oh, I love it so much. But okay, anyways, we have beaten our 3 eggs together, and we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of milk to that. Make sure that is all stirred together. Check on our meat mixture here. Okay, and so since, for the sake of time, and this video is already long, I am going to jump ahead, but it's been simmering for a while. So anyways, let me turn off the timer so it doesn't come right at us. You're welcome. Have you heard that sound in a long time? So here's what we do next, okay? So we take our meat mixture, we literally just lay it in the pan. Spread it out so it's even across. You guys could try this in like an 8x8 pan. I was gonna do it in that, but then sometimes I just don't guesstimate very well. I think this will be good too though. So an 8x8 I think should work as well. So make it even across the board. Make sure you get all of the goodness in there. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. And then what you are simply going to do is put the egg mixture all across the top. It'll, you know, kind of fill in the crevices, and then it'll make this like beautiful, sorry, that was loud. Can you see it? This beautiful crust on top of the egg, and then it seeps into the bottom of the meat mixture. So you guys remember 350 for 30 to 40 minutes until the egg is like set. You don't want it runny at all still. But you guys, that is buh-boo-tie. I hope you give this recipe a try. It is so delicious, and it makes me so happy. Much love, friends. I hope you have the very best day. Talk to you soon.